Should this marketing year, the 2023-24 marketing year, which will end here in another 2 weeks, we're actually on corn exports. We're up about 38% over a year ago, and a year ago was a down year. But we've seen very positive signs. Our number one customer down in Mexico looks like they're going to take at least 820 million bushel, maybe slightly more than that.
And that's a record.
That'll be a record of exports to Mexico. We'll see, Colombia is going to set a new record on how much corn they buy. Our exports to China are down about 60%. And so even with that, we're up. We're seeing, shipments to Canada, to our Central American markets are doing very well. Our ethanol exports, so the exports of corn and feed grains in the form of ethanol is up. We're at just under 1.5 billion gallons through June. I think we'll break the 1.7 billion gallons of total exports this marketing year. That'll set a new record. And that's without, 5 years ago, we were shipping ethanol to Brazil and China. Zero to China and very, very small amounts to Brazil. So we're growing markets like in Canada, markets like EU and UK are growing, seeing shipments to Japan growing in the form of ethanol in the form of ETBE, seeing industrial ethanol being shipped to India. The Philippines and other Southeast Asian markets are starting to grow. So we see not only is it going to break a new record, but we see great potential in grain and corn exports in the form of ethanol.
We have USDA's latest report on prices indicated that we are very competitive with Brazilian corn, with Argentine corn. We're within a couple of cents a bushel with both of those. Is that going to spur exports because the price of U.S. corn is down?
I mean, that's definitely part of it. The strength of the dollar gets built into that. Then logistics, there are points where obviously Mexico and Canada we have short of some of the rail issues we're dealing with in the short term here right now, but we have a logistics advantage to those big markets over South America. If I go into Southeast Asia on bulk corn exports, the South Americans have some logistics advantages, but we ship a lot of distillers dried grain, DDGS, in containers to that Southeast Asia market. If I go to the North Asia market, Japan and Korea, we've bounced back and seen more corn being shipped there versus South America a year ago, and so that price advantage is helping us in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan. China market, like I said, is down 60%, and some of that's price, some of that's the political issues and the trade issues between Beijing and DC. But overall, yeah, that definitely should help. At the same time, I don't want low price to be a reason we're exporting. We need to be exporting to get higher prices for our farmers back here in the U.S.
You've mentioned Mexico. I think farmers are looking forward to whatever report comes out this fall about what the trade panel looks for and how that will be settled, because we don't want to lose that market.
Yeah, and it's the dispute panel, the USMCA dispute panel, is on white corn specifically, or corn for tortilla production, which is going to be white corn, having to be, right now the decree says it has to be non-GM. I think science is on our side, and we should come out on top of that when the final decision comes out in November. And we'll have to see what the reaction from Mexico is. By then, Claudia Sheinbaum will be the new president of Mexico, and so the Morena party still in power, but a new president overseeing Mexico at that time.
Do you look forward to a change with her coming into the office there, or could it be just a wash?
Well, we'll have to see. It's still, I mean, she's sending out some good signals. She's a scientist by training. She actually wrote a paper back in 2016 in favor of E30 in Mexico, while AMLO has actually pretty much shut down any possibility of we're shipping some ethanol to Mexico, but not at the levels we should be. And so we have some hope of potentially being able to bring back our ethanol program to a much higher level than we have been under the AMLO administration, and maybe see Mexico be, again, we'd have the logistics to be able to ship ethanol into Mexico. But even on the corn side, we're hopeful, but we'll have to see, once she's sworn in on October 1st and what her actions are in the first quarter of her presidency.
Now, we have a rail strike in Canada. People are going to say, oh, that's Canada. That's not going to impact the U.S. but it has a great threat on U.S. export shipments.
On export shipments, for sure. Again, Canada is our number one ethanol export market. A huge majority of that being shipped by rail into Canada. We ship a lot of corn and DDGS into Canada, some by truck, some by rail, and we aren't going to switch all of that to truck loads. Some of it, the Dakotas, maybe some parts of Minnesota and Michigan, we're seeing ethanol and DDGS go by truckloads, even some corn. But when I'm trying to ship corn or DDGS out to the feedlots in Western Canada or the hog producers up in Saskatchewan, that's most likely going to be going by unit train, so that's definitely hurting. And then even on the U.S. side, we import a lot of fertilizer from Canada, and so if this doesn't get resolved here in a short period of time, that's going to even affect inputs for farmers here in the U.S. Support the U.S. Grain Council that allow us to take and turn that money into the money we get from USDA, whether it's the Foreign Market Development Program, the Market Access Program, and now the new Regional Agricultural Promotion Program, which is really giving us extra money to go help and build new markets and defend the markets we have. We can't go get and use that money without the support we get from the great checkoff members like the Illinois Corn Marketing Board that we have.
Do you see any changes in whoever wins in the election? Do you look one plus or minus one way or the other at this point?
No, I think both sides have benefits and challenges, both to market development promotion that we're involved in, agricultural and trade policy. I think both have some good things and bad things as we go forward. We'll just have to see how the election turns out, and we're non-political and deal with what's in front of us and have been for years. So.